Namaskar. I am Kumar Rakesh. Welcome in Global Governance News TV. Today we'll going to discuss very interesting subject: Modi effect in United Kingdom. There is a by-election in the constituency of Spain in United Kingdom, and the Labour Party has made a election plan for the Jammu-Kashmir as well as the Prime Minister Modi photo with the British Prime Minister Boris Johnson. On this just a cause, the BJP UK slams Labour Party UK for portraying PM Modi and Boris Johnson negatively in their leaflets. The BJP UK President Mr. Kuldeep Singh Shekhawat has written a letter to the leader of the Labour Party and Labour candidate Kim lead better, misleading the voters and communities. The letter of 20th June letter. This is a two-page long letter. I'm trying to read some of the highlights for the viewers and the other one. Through this letter, we'd like to express our dissent to the misuse of photo of Prime Minister of India in one of the campaign by Labour candidate Ms. Kim Leadbetter in the Batley and Spain by-election. Ms. Leadbetter is either misinformed or using the fake information intentionally for the personal gain. The poster published is misleading to the extent that democratically elected Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi, along with his UK counterpart, Mr. Boris Johnson, are shown in very negative way. It is well-known fact that entire Union territory of Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh, including the part illegally occupied by Pakistan and the part annexed to China, is an integral part of Republic of India. At the time of independence of India in 1947, all princely states comprising the undivided India were given choice of merging either with India or Pakistan. The king of Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh, Maharaja Hari Singh, decided to merge his state with India by signing the Instrument of Accession, which is the legal and the binding document under the Indian Independence Act 1947. The historical facts are well known. We take the opportunity to reiterate our stand that Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh are integral part of the Republic of India, and there is no dispute about it. Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh, like another part of India,
Ji, we can't hear you. जी, we can't hear you. हमें आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही है.
Oh, okay. Now it's okay now. Thank you. I just reading later now. Sorry. This historical fact are well known. We take the opportunity to reiterate our stand that Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh are integral part of the Republic of India, and there is no dispute about it. And Jammu Kashmir, Ladakh, like any other state of India, is governed by the Constitution of India with a strong working legal system, and there is no communication barrier or blackout as Miss Leadbetter used in her poster stating human rights abuses. The development story of Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh expounds upholding the human values. It is the first Indian territory, a state to complete COVID vaccination for all its citizens above 45 years old itself is the example. Though this later we kindly request with verify the facts through your good offices about the human rights violation by Pakistan and its army on citizens of Gilgit-Baltistan and POJK, Pakistan occupied Jammu Kashmir. The respected parliamentary candidate should have the courtesy and will to physically visit this area in POJK and find out the herself before pointing the fingers at the robust and the constitutionally governed democratic nation like India. Using the misleading information to lure voters is an unfair democratic activity as a party leader entertaining such unhealthy practices for shorter gain is unethical. Hence, we request to withdraw the anti-India and anti-democratic poster and take serious action against the MP candidate, this Kim Leadbetter. This is letter to the leader of the Labour Party in UK by the Kuldeep Shekhawat, President, Overseas Friends of BJP in UK, and also released to the media. So this is the issue that we are going to discuss now. How the PM Modi and the Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh is the election plank in UK. So I'll start from Uh, Anita ji, how do you find this Modi effect in UK? How do you analyze now? Welcome Alok Laharji from Spain also just to join. And I'm sending the letter. If you are not, I think uh, they take the letter, but you will see the letter, all the facts mentioned by the overseas head of BJP to the leader of the Labour Party, Alok ji, how they are misusing the poster of the Boris Johnson and Prime Minister Modi, and with as well as the uh, poster of some Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh region, trying to show the depict the this is a disputed part. So this should not be. Anita ji.
Actually, can you please speak a little bit loudly because I'm not getting your voice very clear.
Actually, as
तो
I read the letter,
तेज ही
I think
बोलें
you
जी.
heard you heard all the letter. Okay, you listen all the letter. Whatever I read, you just heard the letter or not?
Please put the question only. Question only. What is your
Yeah.
question?
My question is: do you think the Modi effect in the United Kingdom? Do you think this is a positive or negative for the India and Prime Minister of India in UK?
Uh, uh, Thank you, Rakesh ji. First thing, Modi is as a personality. You can accept him, you can deny him, but you can't ignore him. This is the personality of Modi. So either it's positive or negative. The impact will be impact is worldwide. We can see either it's US or UK or any other country, Australia and other countries. Wherever Modi visit, the personality, the aura of Modi, it's get always give the impactful impact on the crowd. First thing. Second thing, India now become a progressive country. Every day, the kind of diplomacy India is maintaining and the kind of heading step India is taking, it is also one of the reasons that the impact of Modi is worldwide. If we will talk about in regards of the UK, we all know if we'll see UK and India has a very dostana kind of relation. Dostana in the sense that they it seems that they are a good friend. They are very friendly. They hug them each other. They shows that yeah, we are very good friend and we have a very good relation. We have a very good diplomatic relation. But we all know the shrewdness of UK that whenever it comes to the some strategic points when the UK has to support India silently or very fine in a very fine manner, UK will support Pakistan. That we also know. In fact, in regards of the Jammu and Kashmir also. But yes, we can say UK play the shrewd games, but UK cannot deny the personality of Narendra Modi. And we all know that Modi impact is now worldwide. We, international politics, if you are playing, you cannot ignore Modi, either it's UK or US. So my word is that UK may try, but till that time, Modi is the Prime Minister of India. UK cannot ignore the persona of Modi. Thank you.
Rakesh Tiwari ji.
जी
How,
सर.
how do you analyze the situation in UK in the by-election, the local Labour Party MP, and just trying to pose the issues? As you know, there are a large number of voters, Indian UK voters, and I think there is impact on that. So trying to mislead the campaign or just trying to mislead the voters.
Well, thank you so much, Kumar Rakesh ji, and all the fellow panelists. Let me say, I have a different take on this issue.
Please.
Number one, I am against the personality cult for anybody. Okay, And the problem is, I support Modi like anything else. Even on my, I will say from 2014 to 2019, my radio programs within 5 years, the first tenure of Prime Minister Modi, I said he's a world leader. He's not only India's leader, he's a world leader, and he has. And the way he has handled, so all the regards goes to him, but and the way he's handling. But at the same time, as I said, I'm against the personality cult. It's not Modi who is, if I'm in Canada or in UK or in Britain or Spain or anywhere else. So the population, India and Pakistan population, wherever they are in a, you can say that 60, 40, 50, 50, whatever the population is there. So we all derive from there, and we keep the biases. So Pakistani people, most of the people, they will, of course, they are for the Pakistan. Indian people are over there. Now let me come to say this, that as much my understanding, I'm not in UK, although UK and Canada has different tradition, but Labour Party has been known to support Pakistan throughout. Okay, in my understanding, whatever their situation was there, and their political gains. Similarly, it happens in you can other countries too. You can go to USA, and you will see that the conservative leaders, be it George W. Bush, Donald Trump, or all those, they were in some kind of, recently. I will not go prior to that, else Richard Nixon's case will come. Okay, but they are a bit coming towards India, and it happens in Canada too. Similarly, Stephen Harper was here when he was prime minister for 10 years. Modi's program held here, and all those things. So wherever the population goes, the leadership of that country, it does have effect. Modi has his own effect on Indian, the people who are NRIs, who are non-resident Indian, be it living anywhere else. At the same time, I differ with the point of view of my fellow panelist, Anita ji, where she said, well, under Modi's governance, India became progressive. I don't believe that. That is a bit exaggeration. At the same time, I will say that UK cannot. She mentioned that UK cannot deny the effect and persona of it. Is exaggeration. We shouldn't go that far. And as per question goes about UK and the Western countries, let me say very clearly, they were the reason they tried and they decided to divide India. We should never forget it. We should never forget it. So UK has an interest to keep the issues alive. Okay, that's my take.
No,
Thank you.
thank you, Rakesh Tiwari ji. But whatever, just what you differ with Anita, this is your right to differ to any panelist. This is
Can I
no
can I
honor.
say
And
something to Rakesh ji?
after Alok ji, then you will reply. No problem. Then
Okay,
you will
thank
reply
you.
detail. So Alok ji, how just Rakesh Tiwari ji just shared his view about the how the issues either in UK and Spain and any part of the world where NRI is there. So there is a vote politics is there. This is the UK. Actually, I was invited also Mr. Kuldeep Singh Shekhawat, but due to some death, he is not here. Some sudden death of his friend. So actually, that was a more, I think, authentic to for discuss this issue. How just he came across the experiences. So Alok ji, whatever just Rakesh Tiwari ji has shared, he is just not. I'll take the answer from Anita ji. India is progressing or not under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi. This is a big question, and we'll discuss on it. But either, how do you analyze the situation? The Labour Party, the very old party, and ruled also many times on UK. Now I think they have the lost of the, all issues, and they are focusing on the poster of the just for anti-India and anti-Boris. They are focusing on the showing the posters of Boris Johnson and Prime Minister Modi, as well as our issue. Is all Parliament is one, united on the Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh. No country has right to interfere in our issues. Any cost. Parliament. This is one point resolution by the Parliament passed by the all party. So how any country? This is our internal matter. Try to interfere, should interfere, or try to make the plan in their election. Alok.
I mean, there's no doubt that under Prime Minister Modi's leadership, lots of progress is being done. There is, um, Tiwari said that he does not, believe in cult worship. Forget cult worship. In our country, we even do family worship. So, I mean, cult worship is at least one person who's the
Agreed.
leader. There's a leader, but if you see at the entire opposition, if you leave aside BJP and you start from Kashmir till Kerala, see all the regional parties, almost all the heads, even chief ministers who are performing fantastically well, but they don't belong to the BJP. You will find that they are the sons of somebody. I mean, I'm referring to, I think one of my favorites is Mr. Patnaik in Orissa. He's doing a fantastic job. But even he is the son of Biju Patnaik ji, which, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. If you're doing a good job, it is fantastic to do it. What I'm saying is, like, we cannot talk about cult worship or not cult worship. It has been there in all the places. For example, in United States also we have the Kennedy family, or we also have the Bush family, and there are families like this world over. I mean, if you look at Canada also, it is kind of turning into a democratic monarchy, not in the sense of UK that you have a queen, but the prime minister's son becomes the prime minister even in Canada. And that being said, coming back to UK, now, once upon a time, we used to have the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth was kind of dismantled, leaving aside certain countries. To name them, it was Australia, New Zealand, and Canada, which were kept, or for some time even South Africa, which was kept under the same umbrella. But most of the Commonwealth countries, when they had to come to UK, they had to take visa. And Pakistan was one of those countries which even left the Commonwealth. And I think that the thing has not changed so much because the cheap labor which was taken from India, because the Brits did not want to directly interact with the Africans they had, so they had the in-betweens, which were the Indians, so the so-called browns. So part of that racist cult, which slowly has turned into something else, that will continue. Why? Because the Indian diaspora is there. Then by their own deeds, the Indian diaspora was divided into the Pakistani diaspora. Now it has become the Indian, Pakistani, and the Bangladeshi diaspora. And anybody and everybody who's been to UK, he knows that on one side, even if we talk about the Muslim population there, the Indian Muslims are not ready to go to the mosques which are run by the Pakistani Muslims. They might go to the Bengalis, or the Bengalis might come to the Indian mosque. But it's very strange, they don't want to be with the Pakistanis. But strangely, in the politics right now, in spite of the fact that the Indian diaspora is very important, it's probably the biggest diaspora which is there for any ethnic group. I think it comes about to 2.8%. So India was important. Why? Because we still have those roots with India. Like there's this great saying which we keep, especially most of the people who are settled abroad, we keep saying that you can take an Indian out of India, but you cannot take India out of the Indian. Now, this is true for Canada. That's the reason the Punjabi vote is there. And similarly, it's an internal issue. Kashmir is an internal issue. Pakistanis would like to say that no, it is not an internal issue. It is a bilateral issue between India and Pakistan. But anywhere and everywhere you go, the diaspora question becomes important for the local elections in Canada or in UK. Now we are seeing it. I don't know, in a few years' time, probably this will happen in Australia also. I mean, for example, in UK, the Indian diaspora is a very good lobby. So I'm not surprised that this is happening, especially keeping in view that what happens in what has been happening in India is going to start happening in countries like Canada and in UK, and that is that somebody from the mosque says that you have to vote for this party and they will go and vote for that party. So that appeasement would be there. It could be lip service in the beginning, but then sooner or later, I think the same formula is going to be applied in the rest of the countries as well. So I think Labour Party, the head who had this, viewpoint that Kashmir is an internal issue of India, and whatever happens in removal of 370 or 35A, it's something which India has to decide. If the special power was given, it was given by the Indian Constitution and the people of India. If it has been taken away, it is done by the Parliament and the people of India. So I don't think any country has anything to do with it. But we like it or we don't like it, but they have to play this tune to the local diaspora, which could be again divided into Pakistani and the Indian one. So they'll have to do some, if you want to fetch the Pakistani votes, they'll be going in favor of Pakistan, or in case they're looking for the Indian votes, then they'll be going to the Indian diaspora. I'm not surprised. I mean, I find it strange that you guys are surprised over it. This is going to happen, and it's going to happen in the other countries as well, where Indian diaspora is there.
True.
Yeah, okay. Just welcome Dr. Vivek call from the UK, London. Just he was stuck in the traffic, so slow traffic, and I requested just join from mobile traffic. So he just shared with, this is not allowed. This is illegal in the UK, illegal in everywhere, not in UK also. But so I salute you. Just you join this program, and he's a doctor and social scientist also. So I'll take Dr. Vivek call. How just the poster of PM Modi and Boris with Jammu Kashmir make the election plank in the by-election of Spain and by the Labour Party candidate. Just as you know it, the leader misled better, and the battle in Spain by-election.
Correct. I'm sure the gentleman Alokji would have told you, yeah, basic equation is that Labour has got a lot of Pakistani supporters. They previously used to have a lot of Indian supporters also. But what happened during 70s and 80s, they started blackmailing Labour people because, as usual, Pakistanis have a block vote, and, they can pressurize people saying that you have to support Pakistani view on Kashmir. So that is why you find Labour MPs, always raising Kashmir issue and all that. So suddenly it dawned on Indians during the last election that they have been taken for a ride by the same Labour, and they take our votes and they support Pakistanis. I mean, Pakistani Kashmiris. The bulk of Pakistanis in this country belong to POK. Basically, they are Mirpuris. They tell they are Kashmiris. वो सब झूठ बोलते हैं. Mirpuri के लोग हैं. Mostly they are taxi drivers. So this is the bulk of their constituency. So Indians became very clever. बोलते हैं हम तो doctor हैं, engineer हैं, they do good. And suddenly these Labour are always taking us for a ride. They decided in the last election, to hell with Labour, let us all vote Tories, and it did help. Tories got 300 something, a huge majority, which is unheard of in the recent years. So the Indians have become very clever. As Pakistanis are moving towards Labour, Indians have moved towards Tories. This is the basic fragmentation.
But some Labour Party MPs also just support from the all Indians also, like just like Viren Sharma from the Labour Party, South Hall.
Correct.
Some
There are few. There are few Indians who still support Labour because they have got old ties. They have a lot of their businesses are common. They're
some of the Hindus, formula, ethos and all.
Correct. But the youngsters, the younger generation, they're all Tories. Majority of Indians. So you are right. There's an old, because it's very difficult. In olden days, Hindus used to vote for Guy and Bajda in India for Congress. It's very difficult for the families to break and vote somewhere else. But there are still some Indians voting for Labour, but very few now. Majority have gone towards Tories. That is why you found a huge tectonic shift towards Labour, towards Tories getting a huge majority last time. So this is a basic division. The other thing is, most of these Pakistanis, they were working in mill areas. Indians come always qualified, and Pakistan always come unqualified. There's two difference. पाकिस्तान अनपढ़ लोग बाहर जाते हैं, इंडिया के पढ़े लिखे लोग बाहर जाते हैं, ये आपका बेसिक डिफरेंस है। वो टैक्सी वाले बनते हैं और हम डॉक्टर इंजीनियर बनते हैं। तो दे गो टू दोज प्लेसेस जहाँ पे मिल्स टाउन होते हैं, जैसे नॉर्थ में ब्रेडफोर्ड हो या मैनचेस्टर और बर्मिंगम, देर ऑल नॉर्दर्न टाउन्स। तो दे वर ऑल लेबर टाउन्स। तो क्या हुआ लास्ट टाइम मैंने आई टॉक टू बॉब ब्लैकमैन, ही इज अ वेरी प्रो इंडियन टोरी गाय। आई सेड
Yeah, yeah.
why have you left these Pakistanis at the labor at the mercy of these Pakistanis? Why don't you try standing your candidates up north? पहले ये नॉर्थ में कॉन्टेस्ट ही नहीं करते थे, जैसे बीजेपी या कांग्रेस केरला में कॉन्टेस्ट ही नहीं करती थी। तो मैंने विवेक बोलता, विवेक दिस इज अ गुड पॉइंट, लेट मी टॉक टू माय पार्लियामेंट्री इनर कमिटी। He talked. They said, yes, he's right. So they devoted a lot of time in the first time in their history of labor in the Tories, they devoted a lot of time in the northern part of the England, and it brewed and it got them fruits. It worked. And they got so many disgruntled. मैंने क्यों ऐसा दिमाग लगाया? It was very simple. Most of these northern white girls जो थी, उनको ये sexual abuse करते थे taxi drivers. तो white people of those places were very against these labor, जो white खुद भी थे MPs, but getting support of these Pakistanis, though their women were exploited sexually by these people. So these white people did support Tories in the last election. It happened. It had to happen. You can't take
So
people
just you
for a
talk
ride.
about Mr. Bob Blackman. We have just a video recording from the Bob Blackman. I'll just request our tech head just to run the Bob Blackman video, how just send the message. So I'll see
Correct.
the
Blackman.
message of the Bob Blackman, and then I welcome Vandana Jinganji from Chicago.
Vandana
She is a
ji.
senior journalist.
one man army of America.
Yeah. Salute.
वंदना का
sir.
नाम लो तो सब कुछ चल जाता है काम. You don't need a
Yeah,
passport
yeah.
or visa for America.
No. Next time we'll talk another way. But this program is going on. Vandana is just our core factor of our show. So we also salute
Correct.
her. Like, just please play the video. Please play the video of
Bob.
Bob Blackman.
Uncle Bob.
Yeah, Padma Shri. I think Padma Shri Bob Blackman.
Padam Shri. Great guy.
Yeah.
I met him 10-15 years back, first time and many times over.
I shared so many seminars in London last 3-4 years.
Correct. He's very pro-Indian.
Pro-India.
And a very logical person. On Diwali, he takes 19 meals, goes to 19 temples. हर जगह खाना खा के बोलता है यार पेट भर गया.
Oh my God, so nicely. Yeah, very nice.
हर जगह वो जलेबी और वो खाता है. इसको पूरा he knows Indian culture more than us यार.
Yeah. What
गायत्री मंत्र सब मालूम इसको.
Yeah.
He's a great. He doesn't behave like a politician. दिल का अच्छा है. क्या आपका थोड़ा दूरदर्शन की तरह टेलीकास्ट में खेद है?
नहीं खेद नहीं है. Just to actually just he run the. I just requested.
Can I say something then?
No, just okay.
We are live, so you are just taking Rakesh ji.
Please.
So much fun here.
Please. No problem. So just in between they'll play the video. We'll just watch.
Yeah, it's okay. You can play later. You can play later.
Message. So I'll take Vandana ji just how the poster of PM Modi. This is our so favorable subject. How Modi effect in the UK now. So how just start taking the inputs from Dr. Vivek Kaul. A poster of Modi and UK PM Boris. And Jammu-Kashmir is now election playing in UK. So this is see how the Modi effect going globally. Vandana ji.
Good evening, everybody. First of all, as Modi effect in UK, it is inflowing. When we talk about Modi effect, you saw everybody is using the Modi's popularity. It was in US too. We all saw that. Howdy Modi was the biggest platform they could ever see. Then comes UK and the other countries to follow. But the sad part is the people in India are not affected by the Modi poster. And we do have a lot of enemies of Modi ji sitting in India, which is very sad. But as we discussed yesterday also, like, world is becoming a small village. I agree. But there has to be some contrary to it. Like, there are certain things internal should stay internal. Like the US should be taking care of the US part of it. And India should be taking interest of India's effect. We are not worried what is happening to the people in the United States of America, but we are bothered what is happening to the people 10,000 miles away in JNK. It's the same as the people sitting in UK are bothered about the JNK much more than so many people don't even have food on their table. And the same thing, the politicians are doing it. For them, means it is very sad to say there has to be, because these fine lines are becoming very thick lines now. Like the thick lines are becoming very fine lines. I'm sorry to say that. So, and I think tomorrow in the coming years, we'll see there'll not be any barriers. So there'll be like India may or may not, but the US will be running elections based on India's policy. Shame. That is not acceptable. And we discussed that there are election reforms definitely required. What are the norms and what it should be? Thank you.
Vandana ji has said a very important point. Just 10 seconds. The Modi factor is another factor which has joined the right wing in America as well as England to vote for the local right wing people like Boris Johnson here, which he really helped to him to get at least 25 seats, which got a landslide to him. So Modi ji has made people work, join, and these candidates have really benefited from that. Like Trump benefited. Yeah, that's a big factor.
I'll take from I'll just to see the video of Bob Blackman.
The largest democracy. Namaskar. This is Bob Blackman, MP for Harrow East. The Labour Party in the United Kingdom have taken the Indian diaspora for granted for far too long. The reality is they've expected the Indian diaspora to loyally support them at local elections, be they general elections or indeed for local authorities. Now the truth is out. The disgraceful literature that is being distributed by the Labour Party in the Batley and Spen by-election purports to put the Prime Minister Boris Johnson and Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India, the largest democracy in the world, and to use those two figures to condemn the local campaign. The reality is that, as we all know, Kashmir and Jammu and Kashmir in its entirety is part of India. That is accepted by all accounts and internationally. The reality is that the Labour Party now are using this measure to stir up trouble and try to influence the Kashmiri population of Batley and Spen to continue to support them. So this is a wake-up call to the entire Indian diaspora. No longer should you support the Labour Party blindly. Now you can look and see who your true friends are. I can speak up as someone who has been speaking on this issue for more than 30 years. The reality is, as I've said, the entirety of Jammu and Kashmir is an integral part of India, and that those that sponsor terrorism and acts of violence in the region need to be called out. Those people, I'm afraid, are nothing to do with India or the Indian government, far from it. And so we must call those people out and make sure that they're held to account. Equally, we are developing our friendship both on a trade basis, security basis, defence basis, and many other ways with India. And to jeopardise such an important relationship for a mere parliamentary by-election seems outrageous. So the truth is out. The position is quite clear. Those of the Indian diaspora now must recognise who their friends truly are and come and support the Conservative Party, the Conservative cause, who are the true friends of India and will indeed make sure that we carry on a high historic friendship with India and develop it further. We have a tremendous opportunity now we're outside the European Union to negotiate a free trade agreement, but further agreements on defence, security and other aspects of our friendship. Let us cement that for all concerned, and let the Labour Party carry on with their dog whistle politics. That is not acceptable in this day and age and should be called out. Jai Hind, Namaskar.
Correct.
Thank you.
Just you heard the speech and just very brief speech on our special request, Bob Blackman. Actually, he has to attend the Bob Blackman and Lord Ramiranger, but next day they'll join with the four MPs. The Labour Party MPs will be also here and the Tory parties. So we have already requested, so just a sort of time they could not join. But you see how the Jai Hind and Jai Bharat by the Tory MP from UK MP. And so Dr. Vivek Kaul. So I'll take inputs from Rakesh Tiwari. Just you are saying Modi's effect. Now you can realize that this is a Modi effect. This is an India effect also. And either in Canada, either in USA, any part of the world, if Modi is working just for the, as Dr. Vivek Kaul said and Vandanaji said, the growth of the right wing, and just for the prosperity and the positivity. How do you analyze now? Unmute yourself, Rakesh Tiwari.
Let me say, with all due respect to the panelists here, and as I mentioned in the beginning, I am against with this, any cult. Means cult, when we talk about in Hindi, which we call it Vyakti Puja. Okay, definitely the person, whosoever the person has made is making some mark, will be respected, should be respected, must be respected. But I think as coming from India, we have this basic problem in ourselves, and we have inbuilt it. We don't take responsibility. We put, then Modi is doing good, so everything is good. Then when something happens wrong, then Modi goes in garbage. So that's the way.
Let me correct. Sorry for interruption. It is not a Mr. This is not whatever the one person pray and like that. What was saying in Hindi, Vyakti Puja. This is a Prime Minister Modi is not an individual person in country at any part. If we're talking the out of the country, he is an elected Prime Minister of India first. So we are talking about the Prime Minister of the India and Prime Minister for the all religions, for the all. Whatever he's just saying, sabka saath, sabka vishwas, sabka vikas.
Yes, sir.
So nobody can deny this a fact.
No, yes. Please. As I said, I also admire Prime Minister Modi, the way he's leading the country, the way he's trying to solve it at this junction in time. Prime Minister Modi is the best PM India can ever ask. Even I will go more further, so you can please do not judge me that I'm against Modi or anybody, because I will say I say the India will be known in two parts: before Modi and after Modi. That's the way. That's the effect he has it with his actions. But India as a country is not from today. We have produced so many great leaders in past, and we will be producing so many great leaders as well. I'm so glad and happy when I heard Mr. Bob Blackman saying Jai Hind. Definitely, it is great to hear from it, especially from a Tory MP. I mean, we have India's relation.
There was no history like that. If you see the history
absolutely.
of UK,
so exactly
how the time changed. How the time changed.
Now, the another part which I really appreciated from Mr. Bob Blackman,
I'll check on
and when he mentioned that, and that's a very important key role, and I will say that should have been highlighted elsewhere in media too, because he's a member of parliament of the sitting government, and he said Jammu-Kashmir is integral part of India, and he, in my understanding, is not only mentioning the part which is under control of India, also which is under control of Pakistan. That's a very significant. He mentioned it, and by saying it, so and let me say this last thing, that in a newer phenomena, I will say within 10 to 15 years, be it conservatives of Canada, be it conservatives of United States or UK or Australia, they are all supporting somehow India and Prime Minister Modi's leadership, and they are admiring. But again, as I said,
No,
we
no, no,
should
no.
not be
Let me
biased.
correct
For
one.
me,
No,
Pakistan is also
Tiwari
part of
Tiwari,
India. Thank
let
you.
me correct. Thank you. Thank you just for input. But let me correct you one thing. Now, till today, yeah, recently the meeting of G7 countries held, as you see it, as all world saw it, how they are praising India role to fight COVID-19. Just one word, all the G7 countries.
But they
One.
have support.
Number
They have done the same way for the Manmohan Singh too. No issue. No.
actually, I think I will go through the history. If you have, please, I'll check the Alok ji and Anita ji. There's any reference in the last 15 years and 20 years, any country praised, not I'm UK. Dr. Paul is sitting
वॉइस
here.
कट रही है
I
सर
think
आपकी.
so. I am telling you.
वॉइस.
Uh, I think now it's clear now. Okay.
सर
Now
वॉइस
it's clear
कट
now.
रही है आपकी सर.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Some phone was coming, so I cut the phone. So
वॉइस ना थोड़ी.
okay. My question with Alok Lahorji, why is this clear now?
Yes. For me, yes, it
सर
is
ना
very
क्लियर
clear.
नहीं है सर अपना. मेरे को क्लियर नहीं आ
I
रही
think
है. बाकियों को आ रही है क्या?
yeah. So I think Alok ji, as Rakesh Tiwari said, but my question and input also, do you find any leaders impact in any country last 20 years or 25 years as PM Modi in fact has seen most of the countries?
Not at all. Zero. We've had some very interesting, world figures as prime ministers. India should be proud of that. Pandit Nehru was a world figure, and Mrs. Gandhi was a world figure. Prime Minister Modi is a world figure.
Shastri
I've never
has
seen.
made his mark.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
Shastri ji, Lal Bahadur Shastri has made his mark.
Yeah, fantastic. But Shastri ji,
Tremendous.
the span of his prime ministership is so short. And
Yeah.
the Tashkent Treaty which is signed, and after that he passes away. So this,
Yeah.
he could have made an impact.
Absolutely.
But right now, as things stand, I think never ever has any prime minister influenced the elections of any country in any part of the world. I mean, that said, you have to recognize that Mahatma Gandhi and his philosophy of non-violence, and South Africa and Nelson Mandela saying that he's a follower of Mahatma Gandhi, which is fantastic. But we are talking about elections, and when we talk about elections and by-elections in Betlem and Spain, we have to keep in mind that in Betlem, very interestingly, the diaspora is divided between the Pakistanis and the Gujaratis. So they are about 9.2%. They are Pakistanis, and 15.9% of the diaspora is Gujaratis. I think you get my point. I've been repeating that word twice now, Gujaratis. So even if there is a Gujarati who is anti-Modi, being a Gujarati, he's going to support Modi. This is a factor which I'm seeing everywhere, even in Spain, or I'm seeing it in, I think Vannaji does not agree with me. But I know so many Gujaratis who couldn't care less. But after the Modi factor, they have kind of joined. They might like BJP or they might not like BJP or their policies, but they're very much supporting Modi ji. Now that becomes a very interesting and important factor in the constituency elections. And what I'm also seeing is that always the left front, they used to say, and it has been the policy always. I mean, you could start with the elections in a university in Calcutta or Jawaharlal Nehru University. The issues were not that do you have a fund for culture or do you have sufficient funds for education. The issues were what is happening in Vietnam. The issues were what is happening in China, how USSR is going to split. I mean, just think of it. They always try diverting or internationalizing the elections. which the conservative parties all over the democracies of the world, it could be the Republicans in United States of America, or it could be the Tories in UK, they just went their way. Now, what is happening is that the slogan which was there by Karl Marx saying that, the workers of the world unite, I think it is happening. The world is getting, every day, it is getting polarized more and more. We saw it in the US election, the last US elections. It is not happening only in India. It is happening in the United States, and it is going to happen in UK as well. What is happening is the left front is uniting with each other. You see all the negative news coverage would be from the left inclined newspapers, be it in the United States or in the UK, and same is going to be with the right wing. So they are going to support each other or use whatever means they have. We are living in a Twitter world.
Okay, Alokji. Just
They are going
I
to
think
use all these methods to win the elections, because at the end of the day, you have to get into that seat to do something.
yeah. Actually, something I think Vandanaji want to say something when Alokji was just saying about the Gujarati voters and all the Pakistani how they are behaving in UK. Vandanaji.
First of all, I would like to differ with Alokji when he said that all the Gujaratis. No, that's not. I can say that maximum, yes, because the percentage will be 70 to 30, to be very honest. There are some shift, like because of Modi factor. Some Gujaratis thought but on the contrary, it should be we, the people of diaspora. Let it be Modi or whosoever. I have always said they come as the head of our nation, that from our Janambhumi. We should be respecting them. It should not be, because this divides us so much further. Like somebody says, I'm Telugu, somebody says, I'm from
Yeah.
Kashmir, and then Kashmiri Pandit, and oh, I am Brahman, I'm this, and those things are being actually misused or used for their benefits, like we are seeing in the University of California Davis campus. They are bringing, can you believe that? How? Because my nieces and nephews all born here, they don't even know that we are Brahmins. They don't even know. And then they are talking about how the Dalits in the US companies being suffering. So how could these things happen here? Because so that is what the effect, this the ripple effect keeps coming. So here I differ. Like it should be when you come out. I think when we were living in India, eating dosa was a luxury being in Delhi, to be very honest. But now a Punjabi guy who's working in Chennai and a guy in Chennai working in Chandigarh, you can see that how globalized. Earlier it was globalization, now it is localization. But it has to be not only physical, it has to get to the minds also. Like when you're working 24 by 7 in 3 shifts, outsourcing companies, look, some from UK, some from US, and all. So marriages are also happening. But we have to go further, and that is very, very important to save our future generations. Oh, means we are still talking about I'm this, like Bengali associations. I am just going to quote and stop right here. They say when we come to the living room, we should be all talking the same tone. Why do we suffer? Because what we are doing in our bedrooms, we are doing the same thing in our living rooms also, because we are so very separated. Means so many fragmentations, like you can see that one section, second section, third section. So nobody takes us seriously. And when it comes to when Vivek was talking about skilled versus unskilled, you know they always say गरीबी में राष्ट्रभक्ति बहुत ज्यादा होती है. You will always see them झंडा पकड़ के घूमेंगे. When we celebrated, this is very important, when we celebrated India Independence Day, 15th of August, listen to this, we are going to have tent, shelters, chairs, so that people can come. But who's sitting there? All the people from the neighboring country bringing their biryanis and having their sheets there, and they're enjoying the Indian Bollywood singers, those who have come. We Indians have paid the money. And after that, the next week, you see their celebration, And they don't have any chairs, they don't have any tents, nothing. I do have video footage, but that is much more loaded.
वही है ना, जैसे मैंने कहा कल्चर्ड और अनकल्चर्ड में बहुत
This
फर्क
is
है.
this is the difference of the culture also. This is culture and ethos also. Anita ji, something you want to add when Rakesh ji was saying something? So I think we are just and Vandana ji came, so I took her inputs. Anita ji.
Exactly what the Bandaji has said. I agree with that, and all the points of Alokji was very nice. But on that point, maximum Gujaratis they are, and the way he has said, I am also not agree with that because. As you know, when I have visited there for the coverage of the UNGA and all that after Modi, the first time Modi when he has visited to US, on that time also the crowd was not separated as Kashmiris, Gujaratis, uh, Biharis, and
Telugu,
all
yeah,
that.
whatever. Yeah,
They
yeah.
were there as an Indian. What I found that, and the kind of energy I have seen, it was not a first visit till his last visit. The energy was same, the welcome, the warmth of welcome was the same on that time also when he has visited first time, and the when the Howdy Modi has done. I think this is the last visit of PM Modi
Yeah,
in
2019. Yeah,
US.
yeah, yeah.
After that this pandemic has just knocked the world, and we are in
No,
lockdown.
no. So I
So,
think you are. Yeah, actually, you have to focus on
and
the
one thing
local
which I want
aspect.
to say Rakesh ji has said
Rakesh
that
Tiwari ji.
he,
Rakesh Tiwari
uh,
ji. Tiwari
yeah,
ji.
Rakesh
Tiwari ji.
Tiwari ji has said, I don't recognize the personality.
No,
ऐसे
I did
दोस्त को
not say
भगवान
that.
ऐसे दोस्त को तो दुश्मन की जरूरत नहीं है. But
Kal,
means you are saying, Rakesh ji, you
I
are
said,
saying
Kal,
that
please.
Anita, you have done so many good works. I appreciate you, yaar. You have done what a work you have done. But you are saying that, but your personality is not recognized. I cannot recognize your personality. What is this, yaar? What is this?
Can I?
Means
No,
I
no, no.
don't need
Okay.
any
Okay,
enemy
got it.
if
Now
I
I
have a
will
friend
speak
like
up.
you.
I
I
have a
have a
point.
friend like you. So
No, no,
please,
sorry.
please
Sorry.
be focused on your version. And
I'll
I'm
take.
telling you,
Okay,
the
okay, Anita ji.
persona
Okay.
and personality of a Modi is so impactful worldwide. So now the Modi plays a key role in international politics. Please mind it. Whatever I'm saying it on the basis of my experience. I visited to US. I visited to Bhutan also, and other small Vietnam also. And on that time also, earlier I was also covered that this UNGA program when the Congress government was there, and on that time the kind of the voice the American was like, oh, you are from India. But this time, oh, you are from India. So how
Tone
is
has been
Modi
changed.
working? Even the
Tone has
taxi
been changed.
driver has asked me if a taxi driver of US he is recognizing the personality of Modi, and he is talking about him. I appreciate him. What a personality, yeah. And
Okay.
I want to
Okay.
visit India, and I want to see the different part of
Anita
India.
ji.
It means
Anita ji.
the personality impact. Yes, yes. Sorry.
Okay, thank you, Anita ji. So widely input of the experience, I'll take the Tiwari ji also and Alok ji also. And before going the Dr. Vivek call, my one inputs for all the panelists. So in 2015, and I was just part of the UNGA coverage, as Rakesh Tiwari know it very well. So I also visited the Canada at that time. So actually, on that day when the PM Modi about to speak on that day, on that in that year, United Nations SDG program were launched, Sustainable Development Program. I was in the hall of UNGA and the media corner, and what I saw, this is the longest story and very short. First 4 rows, after 4 rows, the India seats are there in the United Nations General Assembly, and before us, the German line was there. So Angela Merkel was there. So when Modi entered, Modi was sitting at that time. He was now Jaishankar is that time the foreign secretary, and Modi was there in the different, just you say, Indian attire. I counted the heads. First, Angela Merkel came and just hug and shake hands and all in that hall. And after nine, 29 head of states came to the dais of Indian Prime Minister, take a photographs, selfie and all in that hall. And I have taken the so many snaps from my just that media corner. And after that, I verified the official of United Nations. Have you seen this type of scene or some instances before? He clarified, never I have seen this type of just scene in United Nations General Assembly Hall. This is the first time. So that we can say this is the impact of the Modi personality globally. Whatever Anita ji shared and whatever Bandana ji said. So now I take this is my input for all of this. Is my I was eyewitness for that. So this is the inputs for the Modi personality globally, how they are the impacted there. Dr. Vivek call. I think there is a run of shortage of the plank, shortage of issues in UK. So their Labour Party is just trying to focus Modi-Boris relationship, friendship, and the Jammu Kashmir like issue that is not disputed. Dr.
Sir,
Vivek call.
Jesse, the way you have said is right. Modi has a very magnetic personality. Like they had Kennedy, John F. Kennedy was in America before. So anyone likes, he's a happy guy, moves around, he's got a huge mandate. So West is always, enamored by these kind of things and has a story. How many tea sellers can become prime ministers or presidents anywhere in the world? Nowhere. So he has a story, he has a magnetic personality, and he has rags to riches story, which helps anyone. And he has got a good, people like him because he has come from the lowest rung to the highest. He's a story anywhere. He's a Bollywood or a Hollywood story. The other thing is that why they are selling this photograph of Johnson and Modi is because, as I said, Labour's main election bulk voters are Pakistanis. So they have to show an animosity between Modi is helping Johnson. It will help Boris Johnson's team because they will get more Indian votes. So it plays both ways. So Indians have now realized that Labour only wants Pakistani votes. Well and good. So why and the Indians have shifted, and one of the reasons for that shift has been Bob Blackman. Bob Blackman, since I have come in this country in 1996, he has been so pro-Indian, so pro-Indian stance that Indians have realized
There
Labour
are
is
so
not.
many like the block back. I know there is so many MPs of the just white MPs in UK, just like Bob Beckman. I can name it.
Yes,
Mr. Salis
yes, but
Vora and
Bob
Mr. Alok
Blackman,
Sharma and Preeti
nobody
Patel
is
and so
as
many. Yeah,
open and as vocal as Bob Blackman. He is really,
yeah,
really 100%. He has changed many Indians, especially young Indians, to vote for Tories, which Tory used to be a no party for us. It was like an
yeah.
Hindu voting for a Jamaati Islami. It was that bad. But now it has totally changed. And one of the reasons is Modi, and the other reason is definitely Bob Blackman's work for Indians. He has
Okay.
been an unpaid Indian
So
ambassador
you can
since
just you can
2001.
say this is due to the Pakistani voters and that's how Pakistani captured the vote bank of the Labour Party.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, so that's why they are doing like that. Alok ji, something you have to add before the Alok ji. I think Rakesh Tiwari, just you have to go somewhere. Then you can put your thoughts. Otherwise, I'll take the Alok ji.
Jay, thank you
No,
so
very,
much.
very briefly, very briefly.
Yeah,
You are running
very,
of time
very,
now.
very briefly, very briefly.
Please. Yeah.
Okay, and with all due respect to a great friend Anita ji, let me say again, as I said before too, and now too, again I'm repeating, I'm not against Modi, but I'm against the cult. Okay, I'm totally against the cult because that's where the problem lies. And another thing Ashok Larji has mentioned, and I think very
Alok Lard.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree
Yeah.
with the Vandana ji and Anita ji too here, that here when we are living abroad, we are Indian and even should be. When we mention Pakistan, means that's Pakistani, Canadian, Americans, okay, British, but Indians, we are Punjabi, we are Gujarati, we are this and we are that. We are always divided. So the Indianness, the Hindustaniness, The Bhartiness has to come first, and nobody is greater, nobody can be greater than the country. He's representing India. My
With
salute to him.
Modiness too. With
you.
Modiness too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Modi.
Alok ji. Please.
Okay,
Thank
I think I've been largely mistaken, or I have not been able to express myself too well. I was relating myself exclusively to this parliamentary constituency, and I was analyzing the diaspora which is there. And it so happens that there are the Pakistanis, which I said was 9.2%, and then there are the Indians, Gujaratis. So if Gujaratis have decided to settle more in this area, I cannot do it without naming them, like it is there. And let's say if we were talking about some other part, some other constituency, I would have said they are Punjabis. And I might tell you one thing, I'm involved with the diaspora here in Spain, and we made an Indian cultural center, and we did not talk about anything else. We talked about the Indian Culture Center, but we still found that people were not finding their identity. Then there was a different group made by the name of Punjabi Virsa. We also helped in making the Andhra Association or the Tamil Association. And believe me, when it comes to working together, we are working as Indians. So I'm not trying here to divide people as an ethnic Indian.
Okay.
On the contrary, but let's say a person comes and he's from Andhra Pradesh or he's from Kerala. We have no issues in calling them. They speak a different language. We go and help them in everything and everything. But please, I mean, I'm not trying to divide or anything like that. Just try to understand this is the basic analysis of a constituency where it so happens that 15.9% of the of the population is Indians, and ethnicity is Gujarati. I have nothing against Gujaratis. I have nothing against Punjabis. I'm a Punjabi myself. I freak out on Bengalis, and we all celebrate all the festivals together without keeping in mind the color, creed, religion, or anything else. I think
I
with
think
that
in
I
a
made myself
way
clear.
he's right. There are a lot of constituencies in UK which have got concentration of different Indians. He's very right. Like Leicester is predominantly Gujarati because the Uganda and East African Gujaratis, I say they settled in Leicester. Southall is very much Punjabi. So he's right. Wembley is mostly Gujarati. So he's right in a way that some parts of England are populated by Indians of particular, but they're all friendly among us when we vote for Labour. When we vote for Tories,
Just last take from Bandana ji. Actually, now I think Alok ji is very clear now, and we're also advocating the Indianness. How all panelists are same as with the different opinion, but just how you express of the election analysis. How we just analyze in India on the not at the just a caste religion basis. There is also plank in the every country now, and how they are focusing just as in Canada. Just most of the Punjabis are there, but they are also just segregated by from the Amritsar and from just Ludhiana side and from the Jalandhar side. Like there are 5 sectors in the Punjab, so they are just trying to divide for the more reasonably. That you're right, no difference of that. So no idea is going to misunderstood you. So Vandana ji. So last this we can say just Modi effect is going to globally. I don't know whatever US election was there. I don't know how just not affected. That is a different issue. But now and how the UK and other state elections also with the NRI Modi. I think do you agree with the Modi effect is going growing?
The effect of the Indians, out of the 4 panelists, we 3 are the people from diaspora, and we 3 are different. We are 3, I always say, we are the ambassadors. We carry ourselves with the responsibility, to be very honest, when we walk around. Nobody knows when Alok is walking, he's Punjabi, Bengali, Yevo, but nobody can take his skin tone and say that he's an Indian Finnish. I am an Indian American, because then bring your own identity when you go out. Modi's effect cannot be ignored. We had Manmohan Singh ji also before. He was the prime minister too. He served for 2 full terms. He used to come, because why they have to come to US every year? Because the UN, you know that. But it was not publicized. We discussed that before also. The diaspora was not engaged at that very level. So here, because when do we get chance to see the person who's heading the country, our motherland? So that is what has been started by Prime Minister Modi 2014 when he came for the first time Madison Square Garden. I actually couldn't go because I had to send my mom, because I said only one person can go because you have to take care of my father. Then comes what India contributed. This is very important. We are engineers, we are doctors, because we have very plus points, with some minuses also. And that is our contribution to the world. We never used to have, like, there are only two political parties, right? Democrats and Republicans. But playing this caste role, playing this religion role in these elections, that has come from India and that is flowing in. Let it be. Because when
Okay.
2016 election, ab ki baar Trump Sarkar. So in 2020 elections, it was only in Hindi at that very time. In 2020 elections, Biden administration, Democrats used that in 20 Indian languages, regional languages, the same slogan. Means, so it is an impact to attract the voters, to be honest. So that impact is coming.
So now we can say with all the panelists what does the Indianness impact and how the our Prime Minister Modi impact and Modi effect. Just like I remember the Raman effect for the special scientific experiment. So it is going globally and growing, and how the UK in sub by election they are going to the highlight the issue just to anti Boris and anti PM. So, and the Jammu Kashmir issue, just trying to politicize as this should not be, as we know, the Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh and all part, integral part of India as a passed by the parliament, and now again abrogation after 370 and 35A. So this is our issue, and whatever the of BJP President Shekhawat also written letter to the Labour Party and the condemned globally, going to condemn, as you have just saw the the message of Bob Blackman to us, how just he say the Jai Hind, how he advocate our Indian cause. So nicely, just thanks to all our panelists who just discussed about the how the role of the Labour Party, the anti-India, and I think we hope the bilateral relation of UK-India will grow and grow like anything under our Prime Minister Modi, under the UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson. So also I think I feel just I praise the Boris Johnson from our fraternity, journalistic fraternity. So I think he is just doing well in UK also, and our Prime Minister Modi also doing ill for a country India. And there is no issue of Jammu Kashmir. Thanks to you, thanks to all just who just participated in our wonderful discussion, and just to see, subscribe and watch the Global Governance News TV for the just grow the next movement of the country. So nice of you. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.